You ever been so single you don't even have anyone to think of when you yerkin? This is Mary Jung, and you're listening to Making the Merge.
We can very well win this thing.
I'm a dog person now.
Line them up, let's knock them down.
You told me your dog was sick. I'd say, I'm coming over.
I crack open a coconut and they didn't cheer for me.
You're either in Survivor or you're not.
It's not about $1 million. All I want to do is win $1 million hearts.
Survivor is back, baby. I've been dying to say that. How are we feeling?
Back, baby. That's how you do it on a premiere.
I guess I'm
great to be
okay.
What's
Guess you're
wrong?
okay.
Well, for the first episode, there was a lot of sad stuff. I mean, the beginning of the episode was like really sad, you know?
No, I don't think so.
What do you mean it was sad?
Are you just going through something?
Oh, wait, I might have been watching the wrong live feed. Because in my version, when the Survivor episode started, it was like an in memoriam section of all past players.
What?
Was that just my feed?
Are you doing a bit?
No, like for real. Like when I was watching it on Paramount.
What?
I guess we can get into this now, but I thought that the intro was really great this season.
No. What did I do?
They did a thing where they showed like the people that are going to be on this season finding out.
Yeah. What is Chase
I saw
talking
that
about?
too. But before that, on Paramount Plus, I was watching live. They did like a quick in memoriam of past.
Oh, for real? They did not do that on CBS.
No, I just had to watch the horrible local news.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I watched the news too, but then it was like a commercial break, and then that little section, it was like 30 seconds.
Wow, I came back like I was so hyped. I was like, "Survivor's back."
No, did I kill the mood?
Yeah, Chase.
Maybe I dreamt that. Maybe I made that up.
You've just been
Maybe.
thinking. You said something about Rudy last night in the chat.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Why is he bringing up Rudy right now?" And now it all makes sense. Here's what we found. Here's what we found out last night in our Patreon. By the way, you could join us in chat. We found out a couple things. One, Chase apparently just dreams of Rudy, and two, the Canadian feed is ahead of the US feed. That's what we found out.
By
a lot.
Yeah, by like a good minute.
Yeah, there were times when our Canadian patron was just saying stuff, and I didn't know what they meant until like a minute later. I was like, "Oh, that's good."
At first, I was like, "Is he making this up?"
Nope.
But,
no, didn't make a single thing up.
Yeah,
All
shout
truth.
out to Tutter.
Tutter.
That's right.
By the way, welcome to Making the Merge. It's great to be here. Another season of Survivor.
Rudy's dead. I'm here.
Do we want to do an in memoriam for Jonathan and Kristen since they're not here?
Oh,
Yeah, so it's me, Brandon, and Chase. Jonathan last night texts us at 10 p.m. and he says, "Hey guys, I'm not going to be able to make it tomorrow," which would have been fine if he told us like 2 days ago.
And in Jonathan's defense, we only gave him a full 12-hour window of which we could record. It's like, pick a time.
Yeah, only a 12-hour.
It was a 12-hour window. Hey, you pick your poison.
Only half a day.
It was only half a day. And so that was tough.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Jonathan and Kristen won't be here for this recap. But, I saw some people saying that this was like a fine premiere. I think it was better than fine.
It was awesome.
That was a great
I thought
premiere.
there was a lot of stuff.
I'm bringing the energy now.
There you go.
Now that I know that we're not doing the in memoriam
Hey,
thing.
Chase, Rudy's dead.
Oh,
No, we're bringing the energy now. Rest
Rudy's
in peace.
dead!
Yeah, Rudy.
All right, that feels good.
All right, so the very first thing we see is a shot of Fiji. And then we see Mitch on a Zoom call because the way they opened this season was showing the cast reaction to getting that call, the You're on Survivor call. And it got me really hyped up. I don't know.
Really liked it. I really enjoyed that intro. And it made me want to apply to Survivor just to get that call. Yeah, I'm not going to anytime soon. Anyway, yes, the intro was great.
And
big fan.
So now let's go to the marooning. Where Jeff, he's out there. He's giving us a motivational Jeff speech about like how everyone's different, but you're all here for the same reason. You heard the call to go on Survivor. And then he singles
Have you
out,
heard about that? Jeff gives a call every episode. I don't know if you've heard about it, but he gives a call every episode. And he's very happy about it.
And he's speaking to all the people who heard the call. And before he talks to anybody else, he singles out Mitch. And how do you think Mitch did in that moment?
I think he did great.
I thought Mitch did great. And a quick reminder, as we did our preview episode and we talked about all the people, one of the things about him was that he has a stutter.
Yeah.
and I was really intrigued to see how he was going to do, especially being the first person that Jeff called on. That was a bold. It's not like Jeff didn't know.
Oh yeah, Jeff did it on purpose.
He picked the guy with a stutter on purpose, and Mitch crushed it. He crushed it. I thought he did a great job.
What a charismatic man.
Oh man,
he is so entertaining to listen to.
Yeah, I think Mitch is going to go far.
I think so.
He goes home next week. We were all trying to figure out who was going to go home first because they always like walk this line of like they want you to know that person before, so that way it doesn't feel like someone you don't know got sent home first.
Yeah.
But you know you can't too much, so everybody was trying to figure it out. And what if it would have been him?
Well, I'm really glad it wasn't, but we got to get to something. They cut to the Green Tribe after Mitch speaks, and the fashion choices just blew me away. Let's talk about Justin first.
I was blown away by all of the fashion choices by this group, not only on the beach, but throughout the entire time. What was Justin wearing? Justin was wearing jeans, right?
Yes, and a shirt with one word on it.
Pizza. Incredible. Cedric, full suit. Like this guy, it's as if they don't know that there is going to be a messy challenge right after they get marooned. Have you ever watched the show?
Yeah, it's been the past 5 years. That
I'm new what I know. That you don't wear a suit to marooning.
No, because it's immediately going to get ruined. But there was another funny thing before we do the first reward challenge where Jeff tells them, all right, the group in orange, your name is Siva, and you represent the sun. In the middle, you are Vula. You represent the moon. That's the Green Tribe. And in the purple, you are Lagi, and you represent the entire sky.
The entire sky. You know what I liked? Because we were talking about their outfits. I like how they were color coordinated with their tribe colors ahead of time. But on the Green Tribe, Cedric is not wearing green whatsoever. And neither is the dude wearing jeans and a white t-shirt.
That's true.
So do you think production was just like, hey, bring something green, and they just didn't listen to him?
Some of them clearly listened. Mary, she bought all into green.
Well, she's an Eagles fan. That's why she's wearing green.
That makes sense. It wasn't hard for her. Stephanie's entire life
was green.
Like, she was the most green person ever. So clearly some of them got the memo and really bought into it, and some of them were like, all right, I'm not going to do it.
Orange Tribe, everyone's decked out in orange except for one guy who's wearing pink.
Close enough.
Yeah.
It's like close enough.
I wonder how, I'm just so curious on like how that happened.
I don't know. And I wonder if Justin had his green pizza shirt made specifically for this. I don't know.
Pizza.
I need a pizza shirt.
Oh, yeah,
I need that right now. I need a Mary mug and I need a pizza shirt.
Yeah, get on it, Justin.
Big green team fan so far.
So let's get to the first reward challenge. I like to call it the Jeff baptism because he covers them all in mud. And his quote, not mine, births them into the game.
Yeah, I don't like it. But
that's why I made sure to credit Jeff with that quote.
Exactly. Did he say it again this season?
No, he said it
I think
on
it was
Fire.
last season. Yeah, okay.
But not on the show.
I'm pretty sure he said it on the show last season or something like that. Like, I remember hearing it. It might have just been on the podcast. But, hey, what a thing to say.
Yes.
Birthing.
So let's talk about the Jeff Baptism Birthing Invitational. It's the official name of the first challenge. Kevin's trying to get through that mud, and Kevin messes up his shoulder really bad.
Immediately.
Yeah, we were all very concerned about that.
He just yells, "My shoulder." And that's how you knew.
It's never good.
Did I see any necessarily like performance loss with him after he yelled "my shoulder"? Not really.
No.
But he did want you to know that he hurt his shoulder.
I was thinking we're going to have another Bruce moment where everything gets halted, and apparently that did happen. I was listening to On Fire.
Okay, I haven't listened to it yet.
So Jeff said that Kevin dislocated his shoulder.
Oh, wow. So they had to go back in there and pop it right on back in there.
Pop it in. Medical.
Couldn't make the 2-hour cut.
No. He said because it made the first portion 20 minutes, and it needed to be like 17.
Oh, my gosh.
Dang.
Look, I got to be honest. Leave the guy getting his shoulder put back in place. Well, if I had to vote.
Yeah.
My thing is like they made sure to like caption it on the screen every time he said my shoulder.
My shoulder.
So it's like they wanted us to know he hurt his shoulder.
I know, and from a storytelling perspective, which is like all Jeff talks about is the story. I was more confused after the fact since we didn't see
we just
it.
moved on.
And I don't want to get ahead too. quickly, but I'm going to do it anyway. They decide, hey, you're going to go on the you're going to be our guy to go to the thing, be our representative. Hurt shoulder, I thought, would be a bad choice. No, it's fine. So I would have really appreciated finding out that he had a dislocated shoulder and it was put back in, because it would have made sense for the rest of the story. But what do I know? I'm not a producer.
Jeff said they mentioned it, or Kevin mentioned it in the confessional, and he's like, so we got it. We found out he hurt his shoulder, but he's okay. They pop it back in, and they tell him that there's gonna be some pain, but it's manageable right now, and he can stay in the game.
My shoulder.
My favorite, because I read the article where Jeff was talking about this, and my favorite Jeff quote from this moment is, he goes, Kevin kind of surprised me because I happened to be standing near him when he suddenly said, I'm in pain. I'm in pain. And I said, can you hang a second? And he said, no. And I said, okay, he's really in pain.
I didn't know about that quote. I'm glad you brought that up.
What does can you hang a second mean? Like, what are the options?
I just love how he heard on repeat, I'm in pain. I'm in pain. Hey, you okay? No.
No.
Okay, he's really in pain.
The I'm in pain wasn't enough.
Does Jeff mean, can we keep the challenge going? You think that's what that was?
Yeah, maybe, but they didn't stop the challenge.
They did.
They did. So they stopped the challenge altogether.
When medical comes in, they stop everything.
Oh, I assumed that it happened after the fact. They just didn't show us. That's crazy.
Yeah.
They should have kept that in.
It would have been a good moment.
Oh,
I can't.
They should have kept that in.
That's crazy.
But also, Jeff Probst can do no wrong. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Probst.
That's
really
right.
Good. It's really good.
So for this challenge, they had to retrieve some heavy chests. Once you get all 3 chests, then you go back into the mud. And then the next part is where our boy Cedric struggled a little bit.
Cedric.
The steep ramp. Cedric had his issues
Our
with
guy,
the ramp.
our Greenville Cedric.
Greenville grown, baby.
Yeah, he was really struggling. He kept falling down. We never actually got to see him get up there. In my mind, I'm like, oh, he's still doing it. And then next thing you know, they're running back. And like, it's interesting to me to spotlight someone struggling getting up the wall and not show him getting up the wall. Similar to, it's interesting to spotlight someone going, my shoulder, and not show his shoulder getting. But again, I digress. Great
it's
episode.
hard for that first episode because they try to emphasize on getting to know as many players as possible.
For sure. It's really tough.
But good point.
Maybe, just maybe, if he didn't wear jeans and a blazer, it would have been a little easier.
No kidding. Real struggle there.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate for Cedric, but we got a really good moment for one of our contestants next. We got our first That's How You Do It of the season.
Yeah!
And at least I think it was the first one. And it went to Eva for how quickly she got up the ramp.
Well, there you go. That's how you do it in Survivor.
That's how you do it in Survivor.
That's how you do it when you're a female hockey player on the men's team.
No kidding.
And
she's
our
incredible.
autistic queen.
That's right.
We're going with it?
Yeah, I'm rocking with it.
All right.
Because she's awesome.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Incredible story.
And it's like a major part of who she is, she said.
Yeah.
So I don't think she would be...
And like a big plot point later on. With her conversation. which we'll get.
So Purple, the Laggy tribe, they got out to an early lead, and then Shaheen clinches it for them. They get the tribe supplies. The 2 losing tribes, Orange and Green, both get to choose someone to compete for supplies. And like Bran mentioned, Justin's like, Kevin, you didn't really get to participate in the challenge because, you dislocated your shoulder. How about you go compete for our supplies?
I thought that was weird, too.
It's so weird.
Do you think that maybe he was trying to do some strategy of like, oh, I'm setting him up for failure so that way if we lose the immunity challenge, he'll go home first?
Maybe.
Because then it's like, oh, he got hurt at the first challenge. He cost us our supplies in this second challenge. And then, if you ended up going to tribal, then it's like, oh, well, then we also lost the third challenge. He's the weak link.
Yes.
He did go to Yale. He could be in Skull and Bones. Like, he might have George Bush on speed dial.
Him and George W.
So Orange chooses Kyle. And before we go to the challenge, you would think that, we would go to the challenge after they choose the people for the challenge. But we actually go to the Laggy Beach. Yep. And the focus is on Thomas. And he talked about how he's on a tribe with huge threats and that he and Bianca really hit it off. And is it too early to say Power Alliance? Bianca and Thomas?
It is. So. It is too early. But that didn't stop anybody in this episode from talking like
talking game,
talking serious game. Hey, you're my number 1. You're my day 1. We're gonna get 4. You're my 4. Or you're my 3rd.
Hey, to
like
be fair,
immediately.
You can't have a day 1
without
if you don't find
day
someone
1?
on day 1.
You're so right, Chase.
Yeah,
you're so right. That's a great point.
But I don't even think he's going to be rocking with his day 1.
No,
because
Maybe.
I'm sure you'll get to it in a second. He makes another power alliance very quickly after this.
And it might be even more powerful, but we'll get to that later. You said it was too early. I don't think after watching this it's too early for anything, because these people want to get right into the game.
That's right.
So we're still not talking about that Kevin and Kyle challenge. We're going to go to the Orange Beach now, where David lets us know that he's awesome and he's a superhero and he can start fires with bamboo and he avoids water.
I don't know if it's a hot take or not. I hate him. Didn't like him at all, in fact. And every time he was on screen, I was like, let's get him out of here. Can he get out of here now? I don't know if I'm alone in that.
I don't hate him, but I can see where you're coming from. I think he's definitely going to be a more polarizing character. That's another thing. I try to consider them as characters,
Sure.
because of the edits. So it's
Yes.
like, he could be a wonderful guy.
I hate
and
the
not
character.
but I do feel where you're coming from, because he did that kind of like that arrogant guy thing where they're trying to not be arrogant, and they're like, hey, if he doesn't get the flint, I can make fire with bamboo. You can make fire with bamboo? Yeah, if I have
Do you want to do that now?
We didn't see it. If he could do it so easily and he's a superhero, I think we would have saw it.
Yeah. To your point, the edit for him seemed very specific.
Yeah.
Like everything that he said was so cocky and so full of himself that I can't imagine that he didn't have some lines where he wasn't that, right? Like, and they just didn't show it.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I love about it, is like, I love the show because there are going to be kind of quote unquote villain characters. And he's kind of one right now.
Yeah. The avoiding water thing. Let's talk about that some more. How do you look like him? He's ripped. How do you not hydrate?
I don't know, but he to his credit, he did take a sip of water and then said disgusting. So, I mean, he is trying. He's trying to evolve. He's trying to grow. He understands that he's going to need to drink water, obviously. I would hope.
Yeah.
And he just thinks it's disgusting.
So, blah, blah. That's what he says. Blah, blah.
Yeah. Maybe I'd be higher on him if he did some more chocolate milk bits in this episode, but there wasn't
Is he
any,
the chocolate milk Captain America?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Now I got to go back, because I was like rooting for him hard in the preseason. Never mind. He's awesome.
He's
chocolate
great.
milk Captain America, baby.
He can't do chocolate milk, though, on the island. Maybe he can figure it out.
Maybe
Put
for a reward.
dirt in water.
Yeah.
Dude,
Close
do you
your eyes.
Do you think that one of the rewards at the sanctuary or whatever,
It's
they're going to have
chocolate
chocolate milk for him? And he's going to lose his mind?
That would be awesome. So you would think now we're going to talk about the challenge. No. Sai says...
Guys, we really did like the episode.
Yeah.
I just want it on the record.
Yeah, the editing is just, look, they had a lot of stuff to get to. So we spread some
2
stuff
hours.
out. We talked about the challenge that's about to happen 3 scenes ago. But we get Sai saying, I don't want to build camaraderie around the campfire. Yes, that's part of it. But I need to know about the longevity of my game. And then she goes up to Justin and Cedric and she says, let's lock in 3. Let's lock in 3 right now.
You were my third? I had quite the journey with Sai on this episode, I must say. From not liking her at all to finding her really endearing to not liking her at all. So quite the journey for Sai, I must say.
Yeah, I agree. I went from liking her to being annoyed to being so annoyed that I'm like, this is good for TV. Let's keep Sai around.
She's great for TV. She's great for TV.
So, guys, it's time.
It's time for we finally did it.
Let's get to the challenge between Kevin and Kyle.
Yes.
Bran, take it away.
So we know Kevin, obviously, we've talked about him, his hurt shoulder. Kyle, if you remember from our preview episode, really smart guy. I believe he's a lawyer, an attorney, really smart. And they kind of have 2 different approaches to this game. So the game is you got to follow this long rope thing and get a machete, and then you got to go and you got to find this key that's on top of this bamboo and get it down by any means necessary, and then go down and get a vessel to be able to fill it up with water, and whoever does that first wins. And very different approaches, I think. And so Kevin is talking to himself. Go slow and steady, slow and steady. And Kyle's over there like, running, going nuts, going crazy. And to Kevin's slow and steady approach, in his defense, it ends up working for him because he's able to figure out, hey, okay, I have this machete now, and then this other rope is connected to coconut. That must mean that the key is in the coconut. I can cut. Kyle is going so fast that he can't even think straight, gets both of those things and just I don't really know what his plan was, but he just kind of took it with him and was like, I'm going on to the next thing. And then Kevin ends up getting to the bamboo, and he ends up finding another perfectly sized length of bamboo just lying around, I guess. And he's trying to use it to prop the bucket off with the key or whatever. And Kyle, on the other hand, is like, machete, let's go. And he just starts. So two very different approaches. And so you might be wondering how will these different approaches affect the final part of this, which is to fill up this glass vessel with water. First one to do it first wins. Here's the thing about glass. You got to be careful around that thing. And Kyle, not careful around that thing, was going very fast, so fast that he ended up breaking, shattering his glass vessel. So since it's broken in half, can't fill it all the way to the top. And so he's very kind, though. He does this thing.
Yeah.
I think he's thinking merch. He's thinking, I'm going to eventually have to interact with this guy. Why not start, having some goodwill with him now? And so he helps him fill up his vessel. So it's two different approaches. And I got to be honest with you, while this was happening, like Kevin was he was constantly talking about slow and steady, take your time. And I was like, it's a race. Shows how much I know.
To his credit, dislocated shoulder.
Dislocated shoulder, something they did not talk about during this here event. That's literally what I said while he was pulling it up. I was like, shoulder seems fine now. So it would have been nice to know that. But
at the beginning, he was kind of like, look, I'm going to lose anyway. I might just take it easy for the beginning. And then once he realized he had a shot, that's when Kevin started to go into full gear.
I found the thing that I found to be most, I wouldn't have even, I guess he had the advantage of seeing how Kyle was trying to fill up his vessel and just splashing it all in there and not much of it going in. But I don't think I would have gotten to that conclusion to just, hey, go really slowly with the pour and try to be precise with it. I think I would have done the Kyle approach, which is just
shatter
just go hard, go fast, and the more water you pour down, faster it'll fill up. I'm just not that smart. And so it was really interesting to see two different approaches and how that approach ultimately ended in Kyle breaking his vessel.
Chase, what did you think of Kyle's decision to help Kevin?
I thought it was a stand-up move. I thought that was great gameplay, strategy-wise, but also just you could tell that maybe he wasn't even really thinking about it. He was just really upset with himself for breaking. He's like, you know what? I can either stay in here or I can help him. And I think I think he's just a good guy.
Yeah.
It made me a big fan of him.
What would Andy have done?
Andy would have. This is what I think Andy would have done. Andy would have thrown himself down into the sand, put his head in the sand, and just been really upset. Gotten back to tribe and just had a meltdown in front of everyone.
Yeah, Andy would have Ric Flaired himself. He would have gotten some of the glass.
He would have face flopped.
Oh no! Blood going all over his head.
Bladed.
No one cheered for me when I made myself bleed.
We've never had a Survivor blade job.
Come on, let's do it.
Here was something that I
man.
thought was interesting, though. This is the second time in the past few seasons where glass is broken in that challenge. But remember Jelinski? When he was doing that challenge and just chucked the glass thing and it shattered?
Yeah.
What is up with that? Why don't they use plastic?
Yeah, maybe let's not use glass.
Before we move on, one Jelinski thing I want to bring up real quick is that Jelinski, we were all like, oh my gosh, he said 7 means several. Next season, 47. We're going to say it constantly. Nobody said it.
Yeah,
we
no one brought
all
it up.
forgot.
47.
Dang. Rest in peace, Jelinski.
Yeah,
he
sorry,
was in the
Jelinski.
memorial
In
section.
memorial.
Yeah.
It just said several.
We had a lot of fun with several for the first half of 46, and then we're like, okay, this bit's kind of tired.
I am sure he made merch, and hopefully he made money off of it.
Kevin returns to the Green Tribe with the supplies, and then Mary knocks out a fire immediately. She took those
Yeah, she
supplies.
does.
Iconic.
Mother Mary.
That's right. She gets that flint.
Love Mary.
She says she's never tried to start a fire.
She's
Then
like-
we got fired.
She's like,
Yeah.
never done it before,
Which-
guys. Just kind of put this together real quick.
By the way, we didn't even acknowledge Mary in our intro. Incredible.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Mary hooked us up on Cameo and gave us some great line reads and incredible. And the whole video is great. She's just so funny. I'm a big Mary fan.
is my favorite immediately.
Yeah, the fact that we got her to read that tweet and she was so willing to do it. So here's the backstory on that. After we did the draft extravaganza, talking about all the players, I mean, not draft extravaganza.
preseason.
The pre-game, preseason extravaganza. I talked about the cameo thing, and then later that night, I was like, I got to pull the trigger on this. It's $10. So
It's only going to go up.
It's going to go up.
Yeah. So at 3 a.m. when I get my work done, I sent that off to Mary, and then she had it done the next day, and I was like, this is gold. The price is only going to go up on the $10 Mary cameo,
especially considering her first confessional. She drops an F-bomb and is already hilarious.
She's so funny.
Actually, we've got that clip.
We do have the confessional. Do you want it?
So I got the fire started, and that was pretty cool. I don't know, maybe I got beginner's luck, but it was kind of easy. I'm glad that everyone saw me make the fire. However, I feel like in the new era, people also don't give a about that.
She's iconic.
Yeah, dude, just straight up like
Love Mary.
Mary is brat.
She is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what that means still, but I do agree. Very brat of her.
It's very brat to get the flint, immediately start a fire when you've never done it before, and then drop an F-bomb in your first ever confessional.
Yeah.
So she's so iconic, dude. If she doesn't win this season, she'll still definitely come back in the future because, man.
Can you imagine Mary if it comes down to Mary making fire? Like at the end?
Oh man.
She's like, never done this before.
Never done this before. This I haven't done it since I did it my first time immediately.
Dude, I think the reason that she had her merch ready before the season is because she knew episode 1 she was going to be the fan favorite.
Yeah, I knew from doing her preview. I was like, we've struck gold with Mary.
We have. I can't wait. Later in this episode, once we get there, I have another thing I want to say about Mary, but I'm going to save it.
Okay,
so
perfect.
if you're listening, don't change that dial.
Well, I've got another thing to say about Mary right now.
Okay.
In the next scene, she calls Kevin a golden retriever. Very accurate. Sai, after that, immediately pulls Kevin aside, and she's like, you know what? Kevin, I want to bring you into my group. We're going to have it be the core 4.
Yeah.
And that core 4 consists of Kevin, Cedric, Justin, and Sai.
Yes. And so Justin and Kevin are kind of in this interesting spot, the two of them, because they've both kind of had conversations with both sides, and they'll continue to. I would say the solid twos are Sai and Cedric, and then Mary and Stephanie. Those two groups have kind of, they're hanging out with each other all the time, and then Kevin and Pizza are kind of like they're hanging out with both groups.
Should we just call them that?
I just call them Pizza. I mean, you don't wear a shirt that just says Pizza and not expect me to call you Pizza.
Yeah.
I also liked how he's like, he just kind of seems like a stoner archetype. So like the whole episode, there was a lot of times where he just didn't seem to care at all. Like, it's like he didn't even care to be like, at one point he was helping try to decipher well, that's jumping ahead a little bit. He's trying to decipher something, and he does not seem excited whatsoever.
Oh, so there's numbers?
Yeah, that's exactly the vibe. He was like, oh, cool. Yeah, man, this is
dope.
Yeah, we got to figure this out.
Better you than me.
Speaking of deciphering something, back on the Orange Beach, David starts noticing colorful animals.
Noticing colorful animals. Do you think you guys would have noticed it, like on your first day? Okay,
for sure. Because I've never seen that.
I don't think I would have.
Dude, it was giant.
I
neon
know, but I think I would be too like excited to like be aware of stencil. Okay, maybe I should have noticed it. It's like they are stencils of like whales and red eagle birds and whatnot. So maybe I should notice it, but knowing myself, I'd be too like focused on, all right, where we, like, let's all be friends, like stuff like I feel like I would be too excited to notice it on day one. Is all.
Okay,
that's a day two. That's a day two.
You're right,
from
man.
Bran.
You're right, man. You're right.
I think if me and Chase were on the island, we would have noticed it just because this has never happened.
Yeah.
There's never just been random colorful animals on the trees.
I would see it and I would be like, oh, they never showed us those before. I'm sure they're always
they
there.
usually keep this in the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
But we've got a great David quote about the colorful animals. He said, "It could mean nothing. It's got to mean something, though."
So true, David.
A philosopher, that man.
Yeah, David's great. He then tells everybody about the weird animals after Kyle came back, and now the whole tribe is searching for the beware, but we didn't get shown anyone finding it.
No. No, they did not find it. I found it interesting how willing that group was to, and eventually when we do find the beware advantage, everybody's so willing to work with everybody on everything in this episode, which is really interesting.
I have a whole thing about that because I was thinking about that pretty hard last night. Is this season feels a little different than the past couple, because especially last season, where it was like if you were a threat, you were going home immediately. This one feels a little bit more traditional, However, they're still keeping that thing of like, I don't want a secret that I keep from everybody, because they're so afraid of like someone finding out about their advantage and then they go home immediately. So it's like this weird in between of like playing really hard, but then keeping that new like fear of any sort of advantage.
Yeah, but what they don't know, what they're not privy to, is that Sue had a secret the whole season last season, and they got her to the final. Did the secret matter? No, but she had a secret.
Sue.
We love Sue.
So now let's get to the best moment of the entire episode. Eva, she has not been open with her autism to anyone on the show at this point,
man,
but
this is so good.
Eva feels like she can trust Joe. So she pulls him aside and tells him that she's on the spectrum. She was told that she'd never live independently or have a job, but her parents didn't give up on her. She then tells him that she can get overstimulated and to grab and squeeze her hands as much as possible, and that would calm her down. And when she gets too worked up after a challenge or whatever it is, that he can just squeeze her hands really hard and she'll feel better. And then we get a beautiful moment of Joe in a confessional with tears in his eyes where he says, I've made a decision. She's with me. I've got her.
Great moment. And he's tearing up.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
That whole scene was incredible and just a great moment for humans, I think. Like that's what is so great about Survivor.
Yeah.
Is there's so much going on, but at the end of the day, there are these like truly human moments that are like, that's dope. That's great.
Yeah.
In the midst of the game, but also there's other people that are like, it's still a game. Like, I don't care. I don't care about this. We'll save it for outside the game. So it's always interesting to see how those things kind of shake out. And what at some point there might be a situation where Joe might have to vote her out, or something will happen where, and that's always like, what will happen if you are presented with the opportunity to vote her out or need to vote her out or whatever it is. It's always interesting to see, like on day one to be like, I got her.
Yeah, the fact that he said, I will destroy my own game before I let her down makes me like really excited to see if that comes to play.
Yeah. You said it.
But speaking of that too, I feel like this season we're getting like really, because we've talked about some more villain edits that we've gotten already, but we've gotten some big hero edits too. Which makes me excited because back in the day, that was the whole thing. It was heroes versus villains.
Right.
And this, I mean, Joe is obviously a hero. Our boy getting dislocated shoulder and still fighting through and winning. That's a hero moment. Like, we're getting all these hero moments. We're also getting some pretty big villain moments.
I do just want to say, I know it's too early to say anything. We're on episode 1, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay.
This scene tells me that Eva and Joe are making the merge.
Whoa.
I'm just going to say it.
Okay.
That's
the name of the show.
I hope.
It all finally clicked in.
Can we get some sort of sound drop whenever we accidentally say the name of the show?
I really didn't mean to.
No, that was really. Oh, I can. No, yeah, I can. Can I do it? Can I? Oh wait, here we go.
Oh yeah, making the merge exclusively on Bramble J.
I think that they will. I will just say it. I said it in the Patreon chat, but it is an interesting choice to tell the strongest person in the game, squeeze me as hard as you can. I love that. I love that she felt so safe with him that she said, squeeze me as hard as you can.
And he was like, I will.
I will.
I will.
Yeah. I will snap you in half accidentally. He's so strong.
It's such a beautiful like relationship.
It is.
Because many times in Survivor history, we get typically an older woman and a younger guy.
Yes.
And they team up. There's been times where we've gotten a really older guy and a younger girl and they team up. And to win a season, I'm not going to do any sort of spoilers.
Please don't.
But it's been very effective in the past. But this is like, Joe's not super old.
No.
He's just a little bit of an older guy. A huge physical threat teaming up with a younger girl. And I just think...
She talks about the father figure of it all and stuff like that. So yeah, that's one of the storylines I'm most intrigued to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think he's about Sue's age, 45.
Hey, you know who else was an old man? Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy was 50.
He did pass away a few years ago. And
yeah.
We knew from the in memoriam. We actually did see it. We were doing the show.
I know we kept joking, and then I was like, I just want everybody listening to know Rudy did
die.
This isn't
die.
a bit.
Rudy really did
He
die.
really did drink contaminated water in Vietnam.
Yeah.
He admitted that.
Yeah,
So
he
maybe
did.
that had something to do with it. But it took a long time.
Catches up
Yeah,
with
it
you.
did. He lived long, dude.
That's
And
how
he
I always feel about when like people that smoke their whole lives like live a long time. Like maybe I should. Like maybe we should. We should all smoke. And
You,
just
you
kinda
ever
how it
see
shakes
someone
out.
smoking a cigarette and they look so cool? And
Almost
you're like,
every
I gotta
day.
Take this up. I gotta do this.
Every day, bro.
Yeah. PD does smoke cigarettes. He smokes like 8 packs a day.
Yeah.
I know I like this guy.
That's how I got my broadcaster voice.
Really good.
Really good, brother.
That's how you do it on Survivor.
Can you imagine if Jeff smoked cigarettes?
What if he smoked during the challenges?
Could he be
Oh,
cooler?
man.
That's how he lights the torches at the first tribal council. Is
He's like, that's how you do it.
Guys, don't smoke.
this is a PSA from making.
That's
the merge.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Don't smoke.
Oh, you said it.
Oh, yeah, that was you were just saying the title. Sorry.
Well, he still said it. Now we're back to the green beach, and Sai is randomly like, hey, I've got to get an idol before Stephanie. And I don't really know where that came from, but she's looking for it. And she's walking around with Justin, and she said, I heard something say, get on your tippy toes and look in this hole. And Sai uses that voice and gets the beware. It was exactly in that hole that she looked in.
Hopefully
And-
that voice wasn't a producer.
Yeah, I hope not. But here's
She's just walking. Tippy toes. Where'd it come from?
there's a problem, guys. Sai sucks at math.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Bad.
This isn't really math, though, right?
She keeps calling
Well,
it
she did call it math.
Gosh.
Cryptogram.
Cryptogram.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just so not good at cryptograms.
Yeah,
Like, how
so-
often are you encountering cryptograms?
Or maybe she just knows that they occasionally pop up in Survivor, and she's like, please don't include it this time,
But
Jeff.
she doesn't like call them puzzles or anything. She's like cryptogram. She said it like that every time. Cryptogram.
Yeah.
Cryptogram.
Maybe she was
In
like,
my day
worried
job.
about this specific thing.
I always come across these cryptograms. And that's fine.
So
I do love that she keeps saying like Jeff. She'll just be like, "Oh no, Jeff."
Yeah.
It's so funny.
because I wasn't like, I wasn't being mean by saying she sucks at math. She
No,
said
she
she
said-
sucks
yeah,
at
yeah,
math.
She said, "Jeff, I suck at math." Incredible.
Yeah, so she
Cryptogram.
she struggles, she panics, doesn't sit on it for very long. Once she actually started thinking about it, she started to figure it out. But originally, she panics and gets our boy Cedric. And this is the moment of the
Whoa,
episode
yeah.
where Cedric shines.
Yeah, he does.
Because he immediately went to work. Red Eagle Hawk.
Red Eagle Hawk. She starts running around like a maniac, like looking at all these things, guy remembering what the color is of the
Yeah.
animal, and Red Eagle Hawk. She's just Red Eagle Hawk.
That I wouldn't be good at that. Trying to remember the 5 different colors
Oh,
and
yeah.
animals. I have a terrible memory. So it's like credit to her for
Yeah.
remembering it. But then I
I'd
thought
be
it was
yelling
so
back
funny.
at Cedric, Red Eagle Hawk! Right in the sand!
Right.
What's an Eagle Hawk?
You know, I am so glad she figured out just bird.
Yeah.
She was complicating it.
Oh man.
Yeah,
So the fourth letter of Red Eagle Hawk is
Is W? K. No K.
she gets that part, and
Yeah.
she goes to Cedric, and she's got the letters. And I got this like, before she did, before she even gave it to Cedric. But Cedric immediately gets it too.
Yeah.
He did what with Sai
with the
and
sand,
Kevin.
with the help of writing in the sands, like he's in a spelling bee, writing behind on the back of the thing. And it was listen.
Yeah, I like how they figured out the letters and it was like Listen. And she immediately goes, that doesn't spell a word. That doesn't spell a word. And then Cedric was like, Listen. Listen.
Yeah.
It's a cryptogram, dude.
Those like
She
there.
can't.
yeah, these cryptograms.
There's always a few moments where I'm like, okay, if I was on Survivor for this bit, I would have been happy about it because listen, like if that's the puzzle you get, and hey, she listened to that voice in her
She
head.
did.
Yes, she did.
And she listened to Cedric saying the word listen.
That's right. And now Sai has the beware advantage.
incredible.
So-
She gets it, and she holds on to it. She's very excited. She cries.
Mhm.
It's the whole thing.
I think Sai gets a strong villain edit in this episode, but she's a very good player.
She's such an. I wouldn't even say it's necessarily a villain edit so much as it like. She's just a really strong personality.
yeah, it's true.
So it's different than like somebody who is so full of themselves. I'm not going to talk about them. Or
Jonathan?
like No,
He's
shut
not
up.
even here. and
I
he's the
know.
punchline.
Sorry, everybody. But like, she just has a really strong personality.
Yeah.
Which is why I was like having such a hard time with her during this episode, because sometimes the brashness in which she says things is like jarring.
Yeah.
But then like that same strong personality is what makes her so endearing. Like
Red Eagle Hawk.
Red Eagle Hawk.
She just has a lot of beef with some of the other players, including Mary.
Yeah.
She calls Mary a hoochie mama.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, she said these hoochie mamas, and she's talking about Mary and
Hey,
Stephanie.
Mary referenced it if you want to read
Yeah,
that.
and I'm gonna.
Chase.
That's what I wanted to bring up. And so Mary actually references this. It's her in a confessional with her
Yep.
bangs and her sweater, and
Incredible
she goes,
sweater.
"Me wondering if I got called a hoochie mama, all caps, because my bangs were C-wording too hard,
Oh my gosh, Mary.
or because my drip was too impenetrable."
Yeah, the drip was strong.
It was immaculate.
I'd say both.
Yeah.
Her bangs were C-wording. Her, I think so was her Eagles sweater.
Yeah, Red Eagle Hawk.
Go Jalen Hurts. Sai, she did have a good moment though. Because she broke down after she found, or I don't know if you call it a good moment, but she was in tears after she found the idol, and she gave a shout out to all the women in her life.
I find her endearing now.
I don't. I
Okay.
think she's my big villain of the
Ooh,
season
oh,
so
okay.
far.
Hey, but speaking of looking for idols, Star apparently was looking for one and disappeared for an hour and did not find it.
Star, I want to cheer for Star
I
so
like Star.
badly.
I like Star.
Star, you can't. You can't.
Chase just had a tweet, guys. I have a really important tweet. So there's an account.
Is this news?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of news because there
breaking
is an alert emoji on it, the
Okay.
alarm emoji.
Fair enough.
So from Star Updates,
Wait.
Updates says Eva did not tell Star she had autism. And then the graphic just says autism.
Hold on.
Wait,
so
what?
there is an account
For Star?
devoted to Star
Yes.
and updates we have.
And on like every update. And then because
Wait.
of course we had to get the update that Eva told Joe, but Eva did not tell Star. So Star Updates let us know that.
Wait, what in the world? Why does she have an update account?
I don't love that graphic. I'll say that much.
Would just her picture of
It's just
her
a picture
and-
of her and it just says autism above it. Star updates do better.
I think Star
What?
Updates crushed it with that
That
graphic.
is
What in the
crazy.
world?
That's
It got-
crazy.
It got over 700 likes on Twitter.
What in
Star
the
Updates.
world?
Hey, one more update from Star Updates.
Yeah, give me an
A
update.
little spoiler. Star Toomey will not be the person voted out of Survivor. Star Updates tweeted that after
So
the
they're not
episode.
giving us any updates
No.
about the show. We're
There's no
seeing it from the
insight.
eyes of Star, who
Yeah.
wasn't in the episode
Yeah.
that
Well, hey,
much.
Chase, I think you need to give Star Updates some credit. Because
pretty baller.
Yeah, something happens on the show, and maybe some people really care about Star.
Like, what did
And
Star
they-
have
yeah.
to think about this?
We got
great idea.
another thing on the Purple Beach. The alliance we talked about earlier, the California Girls Alliance between Shaheen, Thomas, and Joe.
That's the title they gave themselves.
Yeah.
We're not just being like
California girls will
they're
blindside you
undeniable.
at Tribal.
Oh, yeah. Wait, should we make a parody of the song?
that's actually
Yeah,
a pretty
sure.
good idea.
Uh,
Let's write that down.
yeah.
Khaki shorts and Survivor buffs on top.
There you
Okay.
go. That's we're really close to
Yeah,
something.
yeah, we can workshop it a little
Yeah.
bit,
Yeah.
once we stop recording.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Work on that for a couple hours.
Couple hours at least.
So the Katy Perry Alliance, I love it. Thomas did mention here that Bianca is his number one. So he's got this California
Do
Girls.
you know who's not in the
Alliance.
California Girls Alliance?
Bianca.
Bianca.
Yeah, because she's not from California,
The 100%.
so she can't.
Well, so here's the thing: is she's his day one, but by this time it was day 3.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did anyone else find it weird that we didn't get any evening
Yeah.
moments in this epised?
oh, how interesting!
If you weren't paying attention to the lower third,
Yeah.
telling you that it's day 2, day
you
3,
would think it was all the same day,
that's exactly right.
100%. I didn't even notice that. We didn't get to see their
Hey,
first night or anything.
Can you make a nighttime updates account and just no nighttime,
No
in this
nighttime.
episode?
Star
Yeah.
did sleep. Update. Star did
Star
sleep.
did sleep. Tag Star updates.
I'm trying to think of because last season when we got night updates, it was typically it was Andy being weird to Rachel in the middle of the night.
Oh, great.
And then it was right after Tribal.
Yeah,
Like the next episode,
Yeah,
you
that's
get
true.
the Tribal fallout
yeah.
at night.
Rachel crawling around in the dirt, hiding
Yes.
behind bushes, stuff like
How
that.
interesting. I guess just nothing interesting happened at night.
Maybe I'm watching the old seasons, and there's a lot of nighttime stuff.
Well, you got to remember too, Fiji is probably at a place in the world where it doesn't get dark early, right?
I don't know.
Because like when they're in like
the tribal happens at night.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
It's true.
Stupid.
I tried to be
Chase.
smart, dude. I'm so sorry. I need to stick to my lane.
Fiji doesn't have night. Night update.
It's like, what is it, Alaska or whatever, where like it doesn't get dark.
It doesn't get dark there.
Chase said he needs to stick to his lane. Let's talk about Chase's lane. Movies. Camilla won us all over by saying her favorite movie's Holes.
Ooh, digging up
on Gig it. Dig
Two
it up,
shoes,
up,
two
up,
tokens in hand.
yeah.
I got no respect because I'm a
the
new
caveman. Oh,
Got my shovel, shoes full of sand. Check out the tag. The name's Caveman.
dang, dude. I
Come
forgot.
on,
I forgot
Chase.
that Bran has a DCOM original podcast.
Holes isn't even a decom. Get out of here.
Yeah, you're right. But it did play on Disney a lot growing up.
Shia
Yeah,
LaBeouf.
that's where I watched it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Man, Holes, I'm going to be real. I respect that as a favorite movie.
Great
Really
movie.
hardcore.
Do you think that who was that was freaking out? Was it Kyle?
It was Kyle.
Do you believe him?
I believe him.
You believe it?
100%.
There were
Say Holes.
3 times where he was like, "No way!" You think all 3?
Yes, and I think they put him on the same tribe because
Really?
they identified the shared heritage thing. In
You
casting.
think that they act like they act? Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
I
Yeah.
think maybe he was exaggerating a little bit.
Well,
What was the shit? Like they're both
They both loved the movie Holes.
right.
Well, they both love Holes.
They're
The
both from the same
Departed.
place.
Yeah, and so Holes, the movie, The Departed. Was there another movie?
I think
don't
I
remember.
want to say there was a song or something. And
Yeah,
then when they're over by the water, what's the heritage thing? They both
Guyanese.
Guyanese.
Kyle is half Guyanese. I think Camilla is full Guyanese.
Hey, I'm 100% Guyanese. Just one of the bros. No? Nothing?
Boo.
Ah.
We need a boo sound drop.
I'll find it.
Can I
I have a trombone.
There,
It's not bad.
there we go.
Dang, dude.
Charity, once we're on the Orange Tribe after, so we're still on the Orange Tribe. I forgot which one Kyle and
Okay,
Camilla
we're just
were.
one episode in.
Yeah.
If
We're-
you
we're
could
learning.
use the tribe names, by the way, I'd really appreciate that.
We're not doing that. Because after the season, nobody's going to know what the tribe names were.
So dumb.
So we're calling it Orange. So speaking of the Orange Tribe, Charity throws Kyle's name out there to Camilla. But because of their shared heritage and love of the movies Holes in The Departed, Camilla's not having it. And she goes and tells everybody, and she describes it as throwing Charity under the bus and reversing that bus over and over.
It was a really intense thing to say. I don't think she knows how psycho she's at
Yeah.
in saying that.
I like
And
Camilla.
going over and reverse and over and reverse. It was a really intense thing to say.
Yeah, I don't think maybe Camilla's not quite as brat as Mary, but I think Camilla's got some brat in her too.
You said it, brother.
That's right.
California girls.
Next up,
California.
so that was a lot of stuff before
Yes.
the immunity challenge.
Now it's a immunity
Yes.
challenge.
Now, Chase, walk us through this.
This immunity challenge, this is one of those immunity challenges where it's not anything truly unique. They just, it is so complicated. There were so
Yes.
many stages to this
Yeah.
one. You had to run over a giant net. Then you had to crawl through a skinny net tube, which was like a solo tube of netting. Then you had to untie a wooden staff, use that staff to hit a tribal mask that was made out of wood. That drops a box. That box smashes. Inside of that box is a key. You use that key to unlock a giant wooden crate that you and your tribe mates have to shove sticks into to pick it up, get it on the track. Now you're pushing it across the track while going over hay hurdles. And then, to top it all off, there is a puzzle.
Yeah, Jonathan called that middle part the Ark of the Covenant challenge.
And that was a great name for it.
Yeah. A really good name
Not to
for
give
it.
credit to Jonathan for anything, but it was a great comparison.
Shout out to Ark of the Covenant. Shout out.
Shout out Indiana Jones. Shout out my
Yeah.
boy.
Shout
the
out God.
German guy.
Shout out God. Our guy. My guy.
Shout out Jeff Probst. So yeah, the whole challenge, tight challenge. Everyone, and that was another thing I noticed. There's not a single tribe that seems to be really like carrying away with all of the physical challenge.
Yeah.
They all seem pretty fair, all seem pretty even until we get to the puzzle at the end. And that is when Stephanie really drops the ball. She
doesn't roam it, but it's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
She
pretty bad.
volunteers herself for the puzzle.
Yeah, she did way better than Rome.
Way better.
Yeah, way better than Rome.
When we talk about blowing a puzzle, just know
It's from
It's
a
not
level
as bad
of
as Rome.
Rome is the worst you could possibly do, and Ozzy is the best you could possibly. You guys don't
I
know
don't
who
know
Ozzy
Ozzy.
is,
I don't
but
know Ozzy.
PD does.
Yeah, love Ozzy.
But if Jonathan was here, he wouldn't know who Ozzy is.
Hey, Jonathan.
Stephanie volunteers to do the puzzle and then really drops the ball.
She was doing so good.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't really know what, I guess she wasn't putting the puzzle securely enough or making sure it was flush because it started, like, sticking
Falling
out,
apart.
which was making it hard to put new pieces in. It was a whole thing.
Well, who else was working on it with her though? There was one other person.
I can't remember their
Was it
name.
Kevin?
It might have been Kevin. I can't remember their name though.
I'm pretty sure it was Kevin because I was just blown away that Kevin was doing something else.
He's doing everything.
He's doing everything.
He's awesome.
Hurt shoulder be damned. Doesn't matter.
He's the hero of this season.
Do you want to know something else I noticed? And I think I'm just keeping a close eye on Cedric because of Greenville.
Yeah.
But he seemed like he was really struggling with the physical stuff in this one, which he was struggling in the first challenge as well. So something to keep an eye on. Of the people that I kind of noticed falling behind or whatever, Cedric was that guy in both challenges, which is tough.
At least he's locked in with that alliance, though.
That's true. That is true.
Locked in.
But since Stephanie costs them the challenge, that means that Vula, is that how you pronounce it? Vula is the one going to tribal tonight.
And I was scared for Mary.
I was very scared for Mary.
I didn't think the heat was on Mary, but I was scared.
Yes, because we know Sai has the immunity idol, and so she's going to be safe, and that means that if you're on Sai's team, you're going to be in a good place. Which leaves Stephanie and Mary
On
because
their own.
they think that Pizza and Kevin are on their side. So that leaves Stephanie and Mary. So thank God it was Stephanie
And
doing
not
the puzzle
Mary.
and not Mary,
Yeah,
or else we might be sitting here today and we maybe spent too much on the $10 cameo. It may have been too much. She's the first one out.
Dang. Yeah.
So, I mean, really thrilled that Mary's going to stick around a little bit, but she needs to get some alliances going.
And I think she will. Well, she thinks, obviously Kevin is her one of her day ones. And so I'm interested to see how she kind of shakes things up. Obviously, she's got to change her game plan now, and that's not unheard of, especially in the new era, if you will.
Yeah.
Kind of, you've got to adapt, and you got to be willing to adapt with other people. So I think Mary can figure out a way out of this hole, but it's going to be interesting. But the tribal, even though, spoiler alert, Stephanie does go home, it was still it was a heated,
It was up in the air.
heated tribal.
Yeah, and that was because of Sai. And immediately once they got back from the challenge, Sai and Cedric were like, we hate Steph. She
Hate her.
bombed that puzzle. She's got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And then we go to tribal, and guys, the domes.
The dome.
You know what I was thinking? It looks like maybe a war had happened.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe a war had happened.
I can't.
It was just like magical colors,
You know it's a magical. What I don't know if you guys were able to. Did you guys see the really big one with the really magical colors?
That's where the leader lives.
No way!
Yeah.
Incredible. Guys, we didn't even work on that bit. That just happened. That just happened naturally.
I will say, if we didn't know about the whole Jeff talking about that, I don't think I would have noticed anything different in that tribal.
So I'm glad I sent that to Jonathan to read because it's really fun that we got the whole backstory about Igadeza, and I want to say I'm serious about this. The domes are magical.
Domes are great.
They are
domes
sick.
I will say what probably would have happened is I would have seen them and gone, oh,
Yeah.
that would probably and that's not nothing.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. We would have never known that
maybe a war happened.
We would have never known that their intention
we couldn't possibly.
I would say that after I was like really looking at the set stuff, it did look like a war might happen because like there was like some like broken pieces of like old tools and stuff in the corner. And, like,
There you go. Maybe there was a war.
Maybe. A bomb could have gone out there. It could have just been pizza knives and things got away from them. It's hard to say.
Yeah, so like we said, if we didn't know about it, we wouldn't have been able to tell that this is supposed to be a fake civilization.
Fake civilization.
And it's called
Maybe a war.
Igadeza.
Yes.
But I hope I know they're not going to do this, but I kind of hope they say Igadeza at some point, or like Jeff gives some kind of mention to it.
That'd be awesome.
Igadeza actually means even more sky.
Oh,
We got moon. We got the sky.
Wait, Vula. Okay, yeah. So we've got the Moon Tribe
Yes.
at Tribal Council, which is
Yep.
fitting because they do it at nighttime.
Yeah, and they talk
It doesn't
a
get
lot.
dark in Fiji.
It doesn't get it. And actually only every 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Which is really convenient for the show.
Wow. So they've just been doing color grading.
Yeah.
I can't believe I said that.
I don't think the sun, like, isn't it one of those places?
Equator.
I don't even know where Fiji is.
Fuji. Mr. Fuji?
Dude, I
Are you going to throw some powder?
I got a couple of Fuji apples in my house if you want to come over.
All right. We're at the tribal.
And speaking of moons and stars, lots of horoscope
Yes.
speak. Lots of horoscope, which
Great.
I didn't see coming.
Great segue, Brandon. I didn't see it coming either, and I was rolling my eyes hard
What
at the
were they
astrology
saying?
talk.
The air?
Air
A lot of
sign.
air signs.
What
on
is
that
an
tribe.
air sign?
I was outside of my element there.
I know about Sagittarius because apparently that's what I am.
But they're both air signs.
Ooh, can we guess each other's
I
zodiac
just said mine.
signs? Yeah, well, you said yours. What's yours, Bran? Well, let me guess.
Yeah, I thought we were guessing.
I have nothing to to base my guess off of. I don't know what they all
I don't
mean.
either, but I don't even know all of them.
Hey, what's the one that makes you the happiest to hear the name?
Cancer.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
That was quick. That was quick.
That's like the only one I know.
That was too quick.
Leo?
I'm a Leo.
Okay.
I'm a
That's the-
I'm a Capricorn, which reminds me of unicorn.
That is.
Okay.
That's fun.
Now I see what you were saying.
Yeah.
PD ruined
But sure,
it.
Petey, you do your
Sorry,
thing.
sorry.
Rest in peace, Rudy.
And I've got my SAG card. Sagittarius joke.
Oh, I was like, what?
I was like, oh, that's awesome, bro.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that made a dumb joke.
I do have to say, I felt like Stephanie could have, if she wasn't kind of getting pulled into the whole argument with Sai, if she just kind of played it cool, didn't get, I think she could have. I really felt like Kevin and Pizza went into this kind of not sure. And was kind of like, hey, let's just, and then I don't know this for sure, but I think they kind of went in and were kind of like, let's just kind of see how it plays out. And based off of the way that they were talking, I think they just took Sai's side.
I disagree.
Yeah, I don't know if that was.
Fine, good. Let's start a podcast.
Well, I mean, respectfully,
I think Sai had the
disagree.
numbers going in.
Respectfully.
She had the core four locked in.
I think Stephanie did exactly what she needed to do.
Really?
She really kept egging Sai on to the point where Sai was coming across extremely harsh.
Well, Sai,
extremely mean.
I mean, she mentioned the astrology thing, and it wasn't antagonistic towards anybody. But Sai hears air sign, and she makes a face that was so noticeable that Jeff was like, "Hey, Sai, you just made a face. What's that about?"
And she says, I got to work on that. And he was like, no, you don't. It's great for me.
Yeah.
And then she proceeds to say, I don't get along with other air signs.
Yeah, but then not only that, she's like, you know what? I'm here to play the game, and if you're just looking up at the sky like that, I want no part of that. I'm here to play Survivor. And then Stephanie's like, whoa, like she took issue with that.
Yeah.
And then it ended with Sai saying like something like really harsh, like that's enough of the stars, or something like that. And even she was like, "Oh, sorry."
Yes. The point I'm trying to get at is I felt like you could tell that Stephanie was scrambling, and I felt pretty confident that she's going to play her shot in the dark, which throws off any sort of chance that we have to then vote Sai out. So any chance that she had, if she did have those numbers,
she kind of
you can see that she's scrambling.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so for me, if I see that, I'm going, you know what? I'm going to play it safe,
and
I'm going to stick with that. That's what I would.
Yeah, and she's forfeiting her vote, or at least there was a 5 out of 6 chance that she's forfeiting her vote in that scenario, which is not good for an alliance.
I still haven't seen it work out. I know I'm going to eventually.
One
see
day
it.
you will, and it'll be amazing.
Here's what I'll say: when she was playing her shot in the dark, in my head, I was like, if this works, best first episode of a season of all time.
Yeah,
because it was so intense. It was like she is going home.
Yeah,
shot in the dark. If it would have worked, that would have been amazing.
Yeah,
that would have been insane, but it didn't.
Yeah. Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
If it did hit, since he hadn't started reading off votes yet, could Sai have then played her idol?
That is legal.
Okay, interesting.
But maybe, I don't know for sure, but maybe she has to play it before.
It's like dibs
before the scroll
opens and it shows whether she's safe or not.
Oh,
I don't know.
Well, no, because Rachel was going to play it and then look around at everybody and then decide. So I guess as long as he's not reading out the actual votes for the tribal, then you can play it.
Interesting. That would have been cool because then that would have been a revote. And then I think by the rules, they wouldn't have been able to vote for either Sai or what's her face.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Mary would have
Mary
gone
would
home.
have
Well, you just fantasy booked a fantastic ending, but let's talk about the real one. Stephanie gets voted out. She is the first person voted out. And if it had to happen to anybody, I'm glad it was multiple $100 millions in business deals woman.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
She doesn't need it.
She doesn't need it.
She
So
also
long.
gave us one snort. I don't know if you guys caught that. She snorted earlier when they maroons. She snorted at something that somebody said, and she never snorts again. But
I missed that.
it was a subtle snort.
See, that's why you're here, Bran. You caught the snort.
We got a snort
Yeah,
count.
dude.
We're at 1. We'll see where. I don't know if anybody else snorts.
It might escalate.
Oh, and another thing to mention real quick. That's how you do it count. We got 2.
2.
We got 2 in this
I
episode.
thought we were going to get a third, but
We're gonna be tracking that.
That. There was one that it felt close, but it was no cigar too. So that's how you do it.
That's how. Stop.
That's exactly. I got
Yeah,
to said it too many times. What if I know he notoriously does not wear an earpiece, earpiece. But what if he was about to say it and the person was like, "Too many, too many, stop!" And then that's why he cuts it short. This was a really great first episode of Survivor. I think it sets up a lot of fun things to happen, and I'm excited to see next week. And then we get the draft.
Yeah, so let's get some overall thoughts.
Yes.
Like, what? Now that we've talked about the entire episode,
Yeah.
how did you feel?
I think it was phenomenal first episode. I think it could have been one of the best of all time if that shot in the dark worked. I have some concerns because I'm really attached to a lot of these players already,
Especially because of our pregame show.
Yes. And so like I'm really worried because right now it's 4 versus 1 against Mary and her tribe.
Yeah.
I can only imagine they probably won't do great in the challenge again next week. But so I'm really concerned about Mary. But I'm also rooting for a lot of people, which is odd because I usually don't have a bunch of people I'm rooting for yet. But I'm rooting for Kevin and Joe.
Yeah.
And Eva. I'm rooting for Eva hardcore, dude.
She's great.
There's so many really likable people, and there's people I cannot stand, like Sai.
I think I like the whole Purple Tribe.
Yeah,
Great tribe.
big purple fan.
I think the thing I'm to your point about Mary, the thing I'm concerned about is I think it's pretty clear that is the weakest tribe.
Yeah.
And you never want to see a tribe this early go back-to-back tribals. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it though, and that's when Mary's going to be in trouble. So I'm really interested to see what Mary does early on next episode.
Me too.
Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, I think she's going to be safe because she's a 365 party girl bumping that, just like Charlie XCX. And
You lost me on that one too. Is that Brat?
that is a Brat reference.
Oh, good.
Big Brat fan.
I just know that her bangs are always serving, and her drip is immaculate.
That's right. Let's do the MVP of the week.
Okay, let's start with Bran. Who's your MVP of the week?
I think I am going to go with Kyle. And here's why I'm going to go with Kyle this
Okay.
week. I think that Kyle did a couple of things really interestingly. One, when he goofed up the glass, he didn't sit around it. And that means it's showing me he's thinking long term, which I think is always a good thing to see with a player. He's thinking long term. He's thinking, I got to develop this relationship right here, and that'll help me out later on. And then I think that he has a lot of good relationships on his tribe. I think that he's got early on, if I had to make a pick, he's kind of one that I'm eyeballing so far. So I'm going to make him an MVP.
Yeah, he started off real bad, but he bounced back in such a way.
And that's when I'm like most impressed. If you can like clearly struggle and then bounce back, that's pretty good.
And if you can clearly struggle and not go, they didn't cheer for me.
Yeah. I did a coconut. They didn't cheer for me.
All right, I'll
God,
give
I wish someone had a
my
breakdown though.
my MVP of the week. I'm gonna give it to Cedric. Because he had
What?
I know he had the awful performance in the challenge.
Is he
but
paying you? I know he's around here somewhere.
we're getting lunch later.
Oh,
that's
awesome,
why.
dude.
No,
Can I
but-
join?
yeah, you can join. But like Kyle, Cedric started off real bad, bombed in both challenges, but he didn't find the idol, but he unlocked it.
Yeah, he did because he knows how to read.
That's right.
Listen. That's fair.
All right, my MVP.
I swear, if you go with chocolate milk guy,
No, dude. I was trying to defend him a little bit because I like the character.
Yeah.
I agree that he comes across very
he
arrogant.
doesn't like water.
Yeah, that's. I mean, who does? Am I right, ladies? Where my chocolate milk heads at?
You said it, brother.
My MVP of the week is Kevin. Dislocated his shoulder. Still went through with the challenge. Won the challenge. Right? Didn't they win that first challenge?
No, they lost the first challenge,
never mind.
but he won.
That's why he had to compete again.
Yes, against Kyle.
He went to the thing, competed against Kyle, won. And then also just a super cool dude. The whole season. Very level-headed, very nice guy. You can tell he's there to play and play hard, but he's not obnoxious about it.
Yes.
I hope his shoulder's okay, because that's the kind of thing where in like 4 weeks from now, he
like,
could
my
just
shoulder.
have to leave.
Also, I'm voting him my MVP because of Jeff's line of when he was like, I'm in pain. You all right? No. And that's when I knew he was in a lot of pain.
That's what I knew. When you said it again?
Hey, guys, can I either change mine or give an additional one?
No.
Because there's somebody I just thought of that I think deserves to be mentioned.
Who?
Mary?
But you
Eva.
can say...
Wait,
Okay.
not-
All right, let's go Eva.
Yeah.
Eva's a great one.
Yeah, it's a good one, dude.
She got the that's how you do it.
That's how you do it. What'd she do?
She just jumped up the ramp really
She
fast.
did it really
heck
quickly.
yeah. Guys, I'm gonna be honest.
And then she had that amazing conversation. So.
Yeah, she did. That was awesome. That was heartwarming. I'm gonna be honest. I missed a lot of the episode because I was too busy chatting in the Patreon chat.
Yeah, you were really busy.
I need really
Well, I mean, you did just do a decent job of discussing it.
Thanks, man. I just made it all up.
Okay.
You didn't actually watch it.
I didn't even watch the episode, dude.
Yeah, remember when he said that Fiji doesn't have nighttime? That's stuff that you would know if you actually watched the episode. That was
you wouldn't because there was no nighttime
that
in
was
the
a tell.
episode. Bran.
You're right. Except for tribal.
I wish Jonathan was here so someone else could be the punching bag.
No, I like this. Did we do it? Are we done?
I think that does it.
But come on back now. You hear? That was weird.
Is that our new outro?
Yeah, take that out. That was. Don't do that ever again. You're about to hear some ads that help keep the lights on here in the old studio. Thanks for listening or don't listen. It's really up to you at this point. It's at the end of the show. I mean, you're listening to me. Hi. But here they come. I promise they're coming. Yep, here they are. Happy day.